U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson expressed hope in an interview with ABC that sanctions and voices from every corner of the world could lead North Korea back to talks, but admitted intensifying rhetoric had left Washington quite challenged. North Korea's Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho warned on Thursday that Kim could consider a hydrogen bomb test of an unprecedented scale over the Pacific. Ri, who is due to speak to the United Nations on Saturday, added that he did not know Kim's exact thoughts. In response, Tillerson said U.S. diplomatic efforts would continue but all military options were still on the table. A senior U.S. official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said Washington was taking Kim's threat seriously and added that any atmospheric test would be a game-changer. Unacceptable. Pyongyang conducted its sixth and largest nuclear test on September 3 and has launched dozens of missiles this year as it accelerates a program aimed at enabling it to target the United States with a nuclear-tipped missile. He described the exchange of insults between the U.S. and North Korean leaders was quite bad, unacceptable. The latest round of rhetoric began on Tuesday when Trump, in his first address to the United Nations, made the threat to destroy North Korea, a country of 26 million people. He also called Kim a rocket man on a suicide mission. His remarks have convinced me, rather than frightening or stopping me, that the path I chose is correct and that it is the one I have to follow to the last, Kim said in the statement carried by the North's official KCNA news agency on Friday, promising to make Trump pay dearly for his speech. Trump on Friday tweeted, "Kim Jong-un of North Korea, who is obviously a madman who doesn't mind starving or killing his people, will be tested like never before." On Thursday, Trump announced new U.S. sanctions that he said allows the targeting of companies and institutions that finance and facilitate trade with North Korea. Then when asked if diplomacy was still possible, he said, "Why not?" The additional sanctions on Pyongyang, including on its shipping and trade networks, showed Trump was giving more time for economic pressure to weigh on North Korea. U.S. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin said banks doing business in North Korea would not be allowed to operate in the United States. KCNA also published rare criticism of official Chinese media, saying comments on North Korea's nuclear program had damaged ties and suggested Beijing, its neighbor and only major ally, had sided with Washington. KCNA said Chinese media was openly resorting to interference in the internal affairs of another country and driving a wedge between the two countries. China's Foreign Ministry spokesman Liu Kang said, "All relevant sides should exercise restraint and dedicate themselves to easing the situation rather than irritating each other." The rhetoric has started to rattle some in other countries. French Sports Minister Laura Flessel said France's team would not travel to the 2018 Winter Olympic Games in South Korea if its security could not be guaranteed. The 2018 Games are to be staged in Pyeongchang, just 80 kilometers, 50 miles, from the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, the world's most heavily armed border.